Okay, so welcome to the first cube draft with me, Mike. Alright, so as always, this pack is unimpressive because it's the Moto Cube. So I'm just gonna probably take Gilded Lotus. Aetherling is a pretty good finisher. Sundering Titan as well. Hymn to Torok's fine. Dual lands are always good. Kozilek, another consideration, but really, Gilded Lotus is going to go into basically any deck that I'm going to play. I'm not a big fan of aggro decks. They're not very fun for me. So, yeah, so Gilded Lotus is going to go in just about anything. Take that. Now we play the waiting game, which is super fun. Oh, okay, good. So we actually have more options than I expected. Okay, so Academy Ruins, if we're going for the artifact plan, is fine, as our Goblin Welder and Mere Battlesphere. If we're going for just a blue-white control deck kind of thing, Sun Titan's pretty good. Ravages of War, if you have Gilded Lotus into Ravages of War, that's very strong. Serum Visions is okay. So I think I'm going to try to go for the artifact theme. So for some reason Ravages of War, Armageddon, they come around really late. I'm going to pick Mere Battlesphere. This prevents me from committing to a color because basically people have no idea what the hell they're doing. So you'll get like 7th pick Balance or like 8th pick Sulfuric Vortex and stuff like that, or Wheel of Fortune. So I don't really want to commit to a color. I'm going to take Mere Battlesphere. Okay, so now we have Worn Power Stone, or as I like to call it, Soul Ring 2.0. It's a lot like Magic Online in that it's just awful. Thoughtseize, of course, solid card. Gatekeeper is good, so is Tendrils. You just have to be very heavy in black. So if I take anything but Worn Power Stone, that means that I'm committing to a color. I'd rather not commit to a color with Gatekeeper, Spectral Procession, or Tendrils, or even something like Erebos, Teferi, obviously. So Thoughtseize is fine. I'm not a big fan of mono black in this cube. Yeah, I'm going to take Worn Power Stone and maybe Ravages of War, or maybe they have 2 Wildfires in the cube. They have the Portal one also, so yeah, maybe I'll be like an artifact mana deck. Alright, so Eureka is very powerful. Sometimes you'll cast it against a control deck and just get blown out, but yeah, if you cast turn 3 Eureka against an aggro deck and you put in even one thing, you're probably going to win. Bonfire is very good, especially when you're ramping up with mana, but Eureka, if you haven't played with older cards, yeah, Eureka is pretty good. Also puts you in green, which I think is one of the stronger colors in the Moto Cube, especially because we're on like this rampy plan. So we'll get like big guys and other ramp spells. Another card to point out though is Yawgmoth's Will. It can win you games on its own, especially when you have access to a lot of mana, but we're not really built for that right now. I think we're more of a Eureka deck. Okay, so speaking of Eureka, Woodfall Primus is not really the best card for putting into play. It's much better with Sneak Attack. It is 8 mana, which is fine, but I'm just not really impressed with it. Deranged Hermit, on the other hand, it's not the best with Eureka, but if you're like ramping into something, this is 9 power. It's very strong. Plus, something like Woodfall Primus, there's a decent chance that it'll table, especially if we're seeing it this early. Cards I wouldn't want to discount, though, would be like Deathcloud. That might come back. It's not a very popular card, and there's a better black one. Because, yeah, if you cast Deathcloud and you have a bunch of artifact mana out, it's very easy to win from there. You're in a top deck war, except you have mana, the opponent doesn't. Okay, so here, doesn't look like there's really too much for us. Forbid is probably the best card in the pack. I mean, Living Death is definitely good. Forbid is insane though. Like, you could just win the game just with Forbid. I'm going to take Forbid. Yeah, I mean, it's not our Living Death. I'd rather have fun. Take Living Death. It's also a Wrath, basically. Okay, so now we have a couple of options. I mean, when I say a couple, I literally mean two. So Attrition is cool. I always wanted to build an Attrition deck, but yeah, I just never really got around to it. But Wood Elves and Wall of Blossom are both fine. You know, Wall of Blossoms gets you closer to where you have to be, like you just need more cards. But Wood Elves is fine also. I mean, it gets you, basically draws you a forest, but it just doesn't block as well. I'm going to go with Wall of Blossoms. Alright, so this pack is basically blank for us. Yeah, I mean, Tombstalker is not going to be good in a Living Death deck, and it's not really the best to Eureka out. I mean, 5/5 flyer is fine, but Griselbrand is slightly better. I'm going to take Tidings in case I end up not playing black and going blue. Alright, so Sundering Titan, perfect card. It's easy to ramp into. It's great with Eureka or Living Death, so I'm pretty happy that that tabled. Alright, so the artifact theme seems to be a possibility. If you Goblin Welder a Sundering Titan Mirror Battlesphere kind of loop, that's pretty good. That means that it would be unlikely that I would be, 3 colors, because I have no fixing yet. I mean, that could always change. I could take the Academy Runes and just be safer. That would go with my Tidings, and I'm going to do that. Alright, so maybe I'll be 3 colors, I don't know. I'll just take the Bayou and see what happens. So yeah, I mean, Ratchet Bomb, Moment's Peace, neither of them are very impressive. I'm going to take the Ratchet Bomb because it's an artifact, and I hope to open like a Tinker next pack or something like that, or get past one. Again, people just pass comically good cards all the time. Deathcloud came back, which is pretty cool. These 2 cards are not very exciting for me. So yeah, I'll take Deathcloud. I mean, I'm not going to play Hallowed Burial, Elixir of Immortality. Yeah, maybe I'll board it in against the mill deck. And then, yeah, obviously I just take this last pick. Like the deck can be pretty good, I mean, especially with Deathcloud. Like, if you're going to sack all your lands anyway, who cares, right? Okay, so right now we're looking like we're green, black, blue. So, I mean, Sneak Attack would be great to go with Eureka, but I don't think that's a realistic possibility. Simic Sky Swallower is another big dude, which is always cool. Shardless Agent. Normally I don't like Shardless Agent. I know a lot of people do, but I feel like if you're in those colors, normally you're going to hit like a Counterspell or a Llanowar Elf, and it's not that impressive. But if I'm going to hit something like, Wall of Blossoms, I can cut the 2 crappy artifacts. That's more exciting for me. I think I'm going to take the Animate Dead, though. Try and get some discard outlets. And just be, if they're in the graveyard, reanimate Living Death. If they're in my hand, Eureka. Or cast them. Alright, so we have some fixing in the form of Watery Grave. We also have Bitter Blossom. Bitter Blossom is insane. If you cast it on turn 2 against a control deck, you're probably going to crush them. Yeah, I mean, Mana Leak is a card, but yeah, I mean, as much as I love mana fixing, Bitter Blossom is very good, so I'm going to take that. It also goes very well with cards like Recurring Nightmare. Speaking of Recurring Nightmare, Thragtusk, very good with that card. Mystical Tutor. Okay, so basically my considerations in this pack would be Mystical Tutor, which would be very good to get Eureka. Basically, whenever you're this combo-y kind of deck, you want to have tutors to make your deck more consistent. I mean, it's not standard where you have 4 of a card, so, you know, 1 in every 15 cards is what you want. It's 1 out of every 40. So tutors just help you get there. I'm probably going to be blue. I'm guessing. I mean, I have the Academy Runes and the Tidings. It might be safer to take Memory Jar. Because, I mean, drawing 7 cards, also very likely to get what you want. Memory Jar is also a discard outlet. I mean, it's not the... It's a very good card, it's just not the best discard outlet. But it is a discard outlet. When you have a lot of mana, and you just want to draw cards, Memory Jar is pretty good. Tinker, that's exactly what I wanted to get, so that's pretty good. Scavenging Ooze is very annoying. That could really screw me up, but yeah, I'm just going to take Tinker. I'll play, you know, these crappy artifacts and get something good. Alright, so speaking of something good, Tooth and Nail. That is basically what I want. I mean, it's expensive, but if we're green, we're ramping into it. We're trying to get these artifacts that add mana. You know, if I had something like a, you know, a Grim Monolith or Basalt Monolith even, Tooth and Nail comes out pretty quickly. I mean, the only other considerations would be like if I want to go more Reanimator, Exhume or Unus Prowler. Braids is pretty good with Bitter Blossom and Deranged Hermit. But Tooth and Nail, I think that's really where I want this deck to be. Okay, so Buried Alive is interesting. You know, you just get 3 guys, put them in the graveyard and living death, and that's cool. But Fact or Fiction and Gifts are just way more powerful. They also get cards into the graveyard. So of these two, I think that I want Fact or Fiction. I think I want Fact or Fiction because Gifts, you know, if I don't have another big dude, Gifts is not really useful, you know. So like ideally you get 4 big dudes, you put 2 in your hand, 2 in the graveyard, and then you know, cast Eureka and win. But I'm going to take Fact or Fiction, and not only do I think it's a better card, but it has a much better chance of tabling, which is important. Alright, so this pack is pretty unimpressive. Skin Render is good, but it's not really what I want to be doing. So the problem, you know, Trinket Mage is actually a card I don't think should be in this cube. It's in my cube. I have Moxes and Artifact Lands, but when you don't have that, Trinket Mage just loses so much value. I mean, I have 1 target for it, but because I have Tinker, I kind of want it. But not that bad. I do have to stop the onslaught. Okay, so Frantic Search, Looteral Core, both good discard outlets. Dismiss, good counterspell. I have a feeling I'm not going to be heavy blue enough for those. What I really want is like Recurring Nightmare. That would be insane. You know, with Bone Shredder, Skin Render, Deranged Hermit. These, my 2 big dudes. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Frantic Search. It's a really good discard outlet. Now here, I mean, I got my big Simic Sky Swallower back, who he is less impressive than he was when he was printed. Let's see, with Augur of Bolas, I have not enough for that to be good, and I don't think I'm going to have enough. I'm going to take the Simic Sky Swallower. It's going to give me another big dude, and one that I can cast, which is always a plus. So Night's Whisper, I mean, basically Sign in Blood, but without the win condition part, although it's better in my deck because I'm probably not going to want to burn them for 2, but I will have, or it's possible that I'll have mana problems. So I'm going to take that. I mean, card draw is what you want in combo decks. Mystical Tutor came back, so that's awesome. Theric Testicle Force didn't. One thing to know about the Moto Cube is because most people on here are, we'll say idiots, basically they just go off of what they know from recent memory. So, you know, a card like Mystical Tutor, they're like, oh, maybe this is good. A card like Theric Testicle is like, oh, this was really good in Type 2. Basically, if it was good in Type 2, it's going to get taken more aggressively than it should. Necropotence is very good in a combo deck, but I'm not going to be able to do triple black very frequently. Now I can pick a discard outlet or a reanimation spell. So I'm going to go with the reanimation spell. And get a discard outlet, kind of. And then Diagraph Ghoul. Okay, so I'm not going to be playing all of these. Yeah, like Diagraph Ghoul, not getting played. I'll just keep it though, whatever. Okay. So Emrakul, I think that's the obvious choice. Like, I mean, I have Eureka and Tooth and Nail, so I can't imagine a card that I would want more than Emrakul. I don't know if Oath is in this cube, but if it is, that would be a card I would want. Take Emrakul. Okay, so we have a discard outlet, but it's not a very good one. We have another discard outlet. I think that both of those will likely table. At this point, I have enough playables, and I'm really hurting for mana fixing. So I'm going to take the Underground Sea. You know, one of the big things is, with a cube, I mean, unless you're awful, you're going to get enough playables. So it's more getting mana fixing because, you know, I have Gathering Rangers, Go for the Throat, Entomb. Those are all playable cards for me. Angel of Serenity, that's another one. You know, I would play any of those if they come back. Underground Sea probably won't come back, and when I take it, I'm not going to have to make a cut like if I took any of those other cards. So speaking of cuts, I actually don't think that I'm going to be a Tinker deck. Okay, so this is the other Wildfire that I was talking about. So I think that, as weird as this is, like, you know, there's a Jace, not the best Jace, but, you know, it works. I think I'm going to take the Cryptologist. I really want discard outlets. You know, I have, what, 1, 2, yeah, I have 3 reanimation spells right now. Maybe Deep Analysis tables. That'd be cool. Alright, so this is exactly what I was talking about before. Snapcaster Mage is a card in recent memory that people think is very good, and it is very good. I would like to have it in my deck. However, Upheaval is one of the best blue cards in the cube. It, you know, especially when you have mana ramp, it's like you cast Upheaval, you play a spell, and then your opponent discards a whole bunch of cards. Also, cool little trick. Memory Jar plus Upheaval, they just have literally nothing, which is cool. I'll probably table one of the reanimation spells, or the Rampant Growth, or the Avamaya Coast. But yeah, so I know I was saying mana fixing is important, but Upheaval is too good to pass up. Alright, so it's, yeah, just Basalt Monolith. Like, Seagate Oracle is okay, but Basalt Monolith is really going to help me cast those huge spells much more quickly. Like, between Basalt Monolith and Gilded Lotus and Worn Power Stone, like, I can actually cast Emrakul with Lake of the Dead too. I mean, it's not plan A, but I can do it. Alright, so I mean, the cards in my colors would be Future Sight, Hexmage, Fyndhorn Elves, Obstinate Baloth. Future Sight, I think, is going to be unplayable. I mean, I don't have enough fixing, nearly enough fixing for that. Vampire Hexmage, not useful, really. I mean, there's no Dark Depths. It's basically, you know, kill a Tangle Wire or a Planeswalker. Or maybe like unlevel something. Fyndhorn Elves is good. I don't think it's going to make the cut. Because 1 mana green spells are just not going to be reliable. I think I'm just going to take Obstinate Bailout. It's probably not going to be... It won't be in the deck either. I'm just going to board that one in. It could have been the Wildfire deck. So here... Yeah, I mean... I could play Murmuring Bosk. I don't have any Tree Folk, but it is mana fixing. Like I said, Tree Speaker, I'm probably not going to be green enough to play that. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the only green spells I play at this point are Tooth and Nail, Eureka, and Sky Swallower. I know, double splashing. Good for me. But Murmuring Bosk is cool because I think that Unburial Rites might table. I mean, someone took Gifts, which is unfortunate, but if nothing else, I mean, it's green-black, and that's good. So here we have something that's blue-black. Yeah, I mean, my deck is like done. You know, I have 32 cards. Hellkite's fine. I'm not getting a Recurring Nightmare. We're past that point. Gravecrawler, you know, I'm a graveyard deck, but it's not gonna do enough. I think I'm just gonna with Crumbling Necropolis because it's mana fixing, and that's what I want. Oh wait, Hinterland Harbor though. Hinterland Harbor. Oh, Sign in Blood. I could have 2, but I don't want to. So yeah, I'm not gonna play any of these cards. So since I'm not gonna play any of them, I'm like, hey, which one would I most want to have? Nature's Claim or Naturalize? So in an aggro deck, I would take... Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Naturalize, I think. Oh, these both came back. So I like Entomb more than Gathering Raiders because, you know, you just get whatever you want. You don't have to have it in your hand already, so that's pretty handy. So yeah, Entomb. But yeah, the thing with Naturalize versus Nature's Claim, I took Naturalize because if someone I have a few artifacts. If someone Nature's Claims me, I think I would prefer that because I'm going to need the life, I think. You know, again, if it's an aggro deck. If it's a control deck, I guess it doesn't matter, but the 1 mana doesn't matter as much in control decks. I'm going to take Maze of Ith just so I don't get blown out by it. Oh, and Unburial. Okay, so now we have Unburial Rites and Makeshift Mannequin. Makeshift Mannequin is pretty cool with Emrakul. But Unburial Rites has the flashback. Dilemma. I'm going to go with Unburial Rites. I mean, I have 2 ways to flash it back, I think. Alright, so I don't care about any of these. I'm going to cut the Obliterator. It just seems annoying to play against. Zozu, again, annoying to play against. And Terminate is annoying. It's the last pick, but... Alright, so... I think we're just going to be basically like a Reanimator deck. So we definitely have all these spells. Get those big dudes in there. I'm just going to leave them here because we know what's up. I really like the way that this deck has turned out. I don't think I'm going to play Tinker, unfortunately. I know I'm like, hey, this is exactly what I want. And it's not good enough, basically. I'm going to play Bitter Blossom. I know it's not a reanimation spell, but Plan Bs are always good to have. So that's 20, and then... Yeah, so I definitely want 3 big dudes, so when I Buried Alive, I can... I'm I'm not going to bury it alive for Emrakul. But I can bury it alive. Now I have my double green spells that I'm splashing for. Yeah, do I splash for those? So I have an option here. I could just go blue, black, like cut the green entirely. You know, I could still play Bayou and Hinterland Harbor and some of these other. I could play the lands and Gilded Lotus and still be able to cast Simic Sky Swallower. I mean, Tooth and Nail and Eureka, that gets rid of Emrakul. I think there's still a bug on Moto though, where if you Eureka like an Emrakul and they put in Control Magic, they take it. And from what I understand, that is not the way it works. So it's, I mean, this is 23. I could add Night's Whisper and Tidings and Death Cloud and cut Emrakul, Eureka, Tooth and Nail. Is that a good idea? Or I could add Skin Renderer. So let me think for a moment about that. Okay, so yeah, I think we're just going to be really dedicated. So I'm going to cut Emrakul, cut the Tooth and Nail, cut their Eureka, and then cut one of these cards. So Death Cloud, it's another discard outlet. I don't really like Tidings, I guess. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut the Tidings. I mean, I guess if you don't do much, it's a discard outlet, but I'm not going to play the Maze of Ith, so put that in the board over there. Yeah, I'm just not going to... I think it's definitely right to not play the green. The Tinker, I just don't have enough stuff to sacrifice. You know, it's kind of the same thing with Trinket Mage. Like I was saying, they don't have Moxes, they don't have Artifact Lands, so it loses a lot of value. Okay, I mean, you know, I could Elixir of Immortality. This card's pretty bad to put in my deck, Reanimator deck. I could always board this guy in too against, you know, the Brainstorm deck, the Brain Freeze deck. Alright, so this is my deck. Yeah, I'm gonna play this. I mean, it doesn't... Am I gonna play this? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem very good, but it does have the white for Unburial Rites and the green for Sky Swallower. I'll board this out against aggro decks, I guess, but definitely play that, definitely play that, definitely that, and that. Okay. I do not want a forest. So let's see. This is blue, black, black, black. Whoa. Alright, so I actually want a little more blue because I have so many black non-basics. Alright, so that's the deck. See you in game 1.